Hello, beauties. Welcome back to the vlog. Thank you for everyone who watched last week and contributed to the vlog. Special thanks to our team here at Lunar Logic who showed us the behind the scenes of what they do to make this possible. I really appreciate all of you. This week we are going to be talking about teamwork and why it's important, in particular in the workplace. I'm going to cover a couple of topics this week. We're going to talk about how to be open to feedback and welcome it. Sometimes when people give us feedback, or even when people ask us questions, we can take that as criticism when really they're seeking to understand. And when someone asks us those questions, being open to feedback will help us work more collaboratively. So we're going to talk a little bit about that this week. We're also going to talk about the difference between accountability and responsibility. As a company who has adopted Scrum and Agile methodology for our process here, remember we're primarily an engineering firm. I know people think of us as marketing because that's a lot of what you see online, but the majority of our work is done in engineering, software engineering. So how do you take that methodology? How do you say, I'm accountable for my work, but also that you're responsible for it? Because if one person doesn't complete their part, it affects the whole team. And really being able to understand how we all contribute to each other's process and to completing a project, I think is an important thing to talk about. So we're going to talk some about that this week as well. And then I think there's something that people forget about with teamwork, and I'm going to share a couple stories with you about my time in teams and when I had a moment when I finally realized that teamwork was the way forward. It was back in college, and so I'll share that. But most of my life I hated working in teams. Teamwork was not for me. I was a lone wolf and I could do it myself, and the person I counted on was me. And over time, I've learned, sometimes through mistakes and the hard way, but I've learned that you have to count on other people and that you have to depend on your team, that you can't do it all yourself. And honestly, it's not as fun. So we're going to talk some about how morale is affected with teamwork. If you have a solid team that knows how to work together, the morale is much better in a company or an organization or even in your family. And we're also going to talk about how teamwork and good morale can be really motivating. It can be something that gets you out of bed in the morning. We've talked a lot about that on this vlog this year, is what is going to get you up? What makes you excited about what you're doing? And why do you want to go forward there? So I will see you tomorrow, and we're going to talk some about feedback, but this should be a good week, and I welcome your comments and questions, and share your stories if you get a moment to do it, about how teamwork has had a positive or negative impact in your life. See you tomorrow.